Hello, welcome to Sheepdog Says. I'm Sheepdog, and as you can hear, my voice is almost completely gone. I've been croaky and wheezy all day long. Not because I'm ill, I'm completely healthy and fine, but because the England football team have just put me and I imagine 70 million other English people completely through the mill. Yesterday, as I'm sure the world is aware, we played Colombia in the World Cup. I was so hyped. It was ridiculous. I've not been this hyped for England in probably 15 years, maybe. I think that when I got to about 19, I decided I wasn't that bothered because I think, set aside any kind of rivalries and whatnot, I just didn't like a lot of the players, a lot of the personalities. I just felt like people didn't really want to play for England. They were just turning up because they were obligated to. It was kind of a, if you don't, you'll be shamed by the newspapers and all this sort of thing. But suddenly, over the past few years, players from all clubs, not just my club, have started to really be up for it. And we've got a squad now where I feel like they're all likable. Even the ones who are a little bit naughty are still likable. And when they went up against Colombia yesterday, I was walking around when I got in from work. I was singing like "Football's Coming Home" to the kids. I had all these jokes with my friends. I don't know if you guys have been following Twitter and other social media where the memes for this World Cup have been outstanding. People have been sending ones where there was an ape from Planet of the Apes and a human, and they're looking at each other, and the ape leans right into the human, right up to his ear. It's all silent, and then it just goes, "It's coming home." And I saw that for the first time, and I was nearly crying with laughter. I thought it was the most hilarious meme that I'd seen. There's been one today where Vladimir Putin sits down to show off his piano skills, and when he starts playing, he ends up playing "Football's Coming Home." Someone's had overridden it. These have just been coming thick and fast in my groups with my friends, and we've all been sharing the fact that we were adamant we weren't going to win. We were adamant that England weren't good enough and that other teams were going to be better. And every time a team has fallen by the wayside, we've got more and more hyped, to the point where yesterday I got in and I put Three Lions on my Alexa. The kids were dancing around to it. We were chanting, we were singing. Kirsty put the TV on. We started watching that. The baby kept crying, and I kept rocking him and saying, "It's all right, it's all right. It's coming home. It's coming home." And I was so het up for it. And then when we scored our penalty and we were winning for such a lot of the game, I just thought, "This is it. We're gonna get through, and we're gonna keep going, and this is it." And then Colombia scored, and I was like, "No, it's not coming home." And I was convinced it was all gone because it's fickle. Football fans are fickle. We're all fickle. And I was getting really het up by how Colombia were playing and how weird it was all getting, and the ref and all this, that, and the other. And when it went to penalties, I think everyone in the country was just like, "English players can't take penalties. We just don't do penalties. It's not a thing." And I mean, when Henderson's one was saved, so our first two went in and our third one was saved, I think, if I remember rightly. And I was just like, "This is it. They're going to score all of theirs. This is it. It's gone. We're gonna miss everyone now. It's all ruined." And it was down to the point where we needed one more and we were going to win. And a defender from Tottenham steps up, and I'm begging him not to take it. I'm thinking, no. A, you're going to miss it because you're a defender. B, you're going to be the scapegoat for the whole World Cup, and everyone's going to hate you, and it's going to ruin you. And I don't. He's too good of a person for that to happen to. It happened to our manager 20 years ago. It happens to so many players. And even the players I don't like, I wouldn't want that happening to, but I was just convinced he wasn't going to score it because the pressure was going to be too much. And he smashed it into the net. And at that point, I jumped up and roared so loud that my voice is gone. It's getting better now. The fact that I'm able to talk now is a testament to how, I've managed to recover from how mute I was this morning and last night after it all. I've strained my vocal cords to beyond the pale. Bosco had said to me before the game that he really liked it in the last game when we scored, and I threw him in the air and he said, "If you could do that again, that'd be lovely." Well, I can tell you that when they scored that final penalty and we'd won the game, he got thrown in the air about 100 times. I was screaming. It was so loud the baby started crying. Now we're wondering whether he's a Colombian because he wasn't happy. Lampard was rolling around, Kirsty was rolling around, everyone was going nuts. It's probably one of my favourite football memories now. It's probably up there as one of my favourite memories ever because it was just such a release of emotion. The kids were getting anxious beforehand, they were getting a bit fed up, they were, getting fidgety, and worrying about the fact that we weren't really up for talking, and we weren't up for kind of being like, yeah, football. We'd gone from being really happy and joyous and singing football's coming home to being really like, sit still. And I mean, since yesterday, Bosco walks around the house, and honestly, he has been wandering around going, it's coming home, it's coming home. And he's just singing it to himself. And he doesn't even know the song. He doesn't even know the joke. He doesn't even know why I keep saying it. But he's just started saying it. And I'm just like blown away. I still think, being English, we'll probably lose to Sweden at the weekend, and that'll be that. My original thought is 3 outcomes, which I guess I'm predicting it too many different ways, really. I can't be that wrong. But I feel like if we get through, we'll end up playing Russia and losing because they're the hosts. But if we even get through that, I just have a feeling since the Belgium game that we'll play Belgium in the final. And I didn't realise when I said it that it was quite... I kind of didn't realise it was the route that could happen. But I feel like they could take out Brazil and we could both meet in the final, and then it's like a replay of the game where we were both understaffed, like we both rested our players earlier in the season and that kind of thing. So I'm excited, thinking, I wonder if I'll be right, and I wonder what will happen. But I don't know, we'll just go out the weekend probably. But no one expected it, and I feel like for the first time in the history of this country, in the history of the World Cup, in the history of football, people won't mind. I hope, I'm touching wood, people won't crucify them, and that'll be a joy in itself. We've broken the hoodoo on penalties, let's break the hoodoo on crucifying people. I was joking with my friends before the game to break the tension. We were trying to guess who'd be the scapegoat and who the newspapers would blame if we lost, and what their headlines would be, and we had all sorts of like plays on their names, like Miss from a Rose or Kieran Trippier, yeah, and just there was loads. I mean, this is the quality of these puns from the newspapers are ridiculous. They had Go Kane because of the Colombian reference, which is awful. Today they had Hand of Jord instead of Hand of God, because our goalkeeper was so amazing that he saved this really difficult goal and all these things. So no, it's been really nice just having that camaraderie that everyone accepts it doesn't matter. So, you know, everything we've done now, we've met expectations. Anything further than this is exceeding expectations, and that's great. And I really like that. I feel like if we could be like this every time, it'd be fantastic. If we can go and win it now, that'd be even better, because I feel like the belief's going to rise and rise and rise, like it would with any team. But right now, I feel like we just got to do really well at the weekend, and it's just mind-blowing. I'm loving sharing it with the kids. They come into it a bit like, I'll watch it. They spend the first half kind of half engaged, and then they spend the rest of the game really up for it in the aftermath, and they feed off my bits. So I think if I'd have been sad that we'd lost, they'd have probably been a bit like, I'm going to go to bed now and I'm going to hide. But, they were all right. They really, they loved it. They thought it was so good. After the Belgium game, they were a bit like, well, that was boring. But no, they've been really up for this, and it's really nice sharing it with them. We've done our family sweepstake, and all my teams are out now. I think I said before, we had 2 bets on. We had a bet for the winner getting a bottle of something they wanted. So in the kids' case, it was a bottle of like Coke or Fanta or whatever with some sweets. For me and Kirsty, it was alcohol with whatever. And we had another bet on where our captain teams won us a meal of our choice, like starter, main and dessert of our choice, whoever's team went the furthest. And mine was Argentina, and they went out so quick. I don't know if anybody else's teams are still in for that bit. I'll have to get Kirsty to check and let me know. But all I know is that I've got 0 teams left in this tournament now, so I am not winning any alcohol. So I'm entirely reliant on my wife to win so that she can get a bottle of alcohol that she will share with me. But then even then she might not want to, because otherwise I'm going to be stealing Fanta off of Bosco because he's got England, and if they win, I'll be sharing his Fanta. But we're doing another sweepstake with our local community, and I was 3rd in it for like most of the tournament, and now I don't have a clue where I am, but I'm really hoping that there's like a top 3 prize, because if there is, then I might be in with a shot. But then we did the same one for the Premier League, and I was in the top 10 for the whole season, and then finished somewhere ridiculous, and my brother-in-law won it. So God knows what's going to happen, but I feel like betting on Russia was a good bet because they've gone pretty far. So fingers crossed I win that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because my voice is struggling, and I'm starting to feel really rough with this, trying to force out my voice. So thanks very much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. I'm going to wrap it up now because I'm getting a really sore throat and the pain's killing me. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.